Welcome back. In the previous class, we discussed the concept of error and approximation. And everything that has to do with error and approximation has been analyzed. You have understood the concept of all the approximation that we have: decimal places, significant figure, nearest value, as well as standard form. In this class, we begin to explore some other important area of mathematics that you have to understand in order to continue to the next higher level in mathematical concept. In this class, we are going to discuss LCM HCF. We are going to talk about ratio, proportion, as well as application of ratio proportion, but not fully all of those concepts. We are going to look at some of them. But we're going to start with LCM and HCF. Let's begin. LCM means least common multiple. When you see the word least, and when you see the word common, you should know that we have two or more items. When we are now looking at the least, that is the smallest of the two or more, when we are talking about multiple means something that is multiplied together to form another thing. The concept of multiple shows here that there are two or more numbers that have to come together to form another number. Example, 6 is multiple of 2 and 3. Multiple there means multiplication. So therefore, multi means many. Many, combine many to a single. In this case, we combine 3 and 2 to form 6, which is 2 is multiple of what? 3 and 6. Basically, to find LCM, we must see more than one number. That is to say, LCM exists for more than one number. Although some people can use one number, for example, I can ask you to find the LCM of 6. All you have to do is divide 6 until you get to last number that is not divisible. Okay? So here, LCM is equal to 2 times, 2 goes in 6, that is 3, and then 3 goes in 3, that is 1, okay? That is 6. So the multiple of 6 is 2 and 3. You can now see what we are talking about. That is to say, the multiple of any number are the number that are multiplied together to form that number. But when we now have the word common, that is to say, we are highly probable to have more than one number. And therefore, we need to find their LCM. In this class, you will learn how to find LCM and HCF, as well as any manipulation that is possible, doable under LCM and HCF. This is how to find LCM. In finding an LCM, you can see here we have two numbers. I'm coming, sorry. We have two numbers. We have 24 and 36. The basic principle here, if you watch the introductory class to mathematics, we said that there are basic numbers between 0 and infinity. And numbers between this 0 and infinity are what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and infinity. Within this number range, there are 4 prime number. There are 4 prime number that divide itself at 1, and they are what? 2, 3, 5, and 7. This number are the basic tools that is mostly likely used to divide any big number into smaller one. That's the reason why if you use 2, it doesn't go, use 3. You use 3, it doesn't go, use 5. Use 5, it doesn't go, use 7. Are you getting me? So if you look at aspect of 24 and 36, the first number they use is 2, which goes in both number. So if 2 does not go in both number, do not use it. We use 2 again, 2 go in both number again. Then if we use 2 here, 2 goes in 6, but it doesn't go in 9. That's the reason why we can't use 2. So we look up to the next prime number, which is 3. So 3 goes in them. You can see that the remaining number are what? A prime number. Since you have arrived at prime number, or you arrive at 1, you should know that that number is no longer divisible, because prime number divide itself and 1. In this scenario, what we are now trying to say is that in order to find LCM, you have to multiply this vertical number and this horizontal number together. That is LCM that have to do with what? Multiplication of what? Vertical number and horizontal number. But your HCF is multiple of this vertical number alone. That's the reason why HCF is equal to what? 2 times 2 times 3. But your LCM will be equal to what? 2 times 2 times 3 times 2 times 3. So this is your LCM. If they now ask you to find the product of LCM and HCF, whatever you get here as answer, multiply it with this one. So this is 3, this is 12 multiplied by 6. So 12 multiplied by 6, that should be equal to 36, if I'm not mistaken. So you can find the multiple of the two. Whatever they want you to do, just know that you need to find the basic, which is LCM and HCF. The least common multiple is 36. While the highest common factor is 12. The highest common factor is 12. That is to say, if you look at 24 and 36, the highest number that is common between them is that 12. Anything more than 12 is not possible. We continue to aspect of ratio. We continue to aspect of ratio because we still have more time. Let us look at ratio. What is ratio? A ratio shows relative size of 2 or more like value. Relative size of 2 or more like value. The meaning is that whatever number that you are going to use, they should have the same unit. Length and length, time and time, velocity, velocity, money to money, whatever you want to use, you must use item of the same unit. That is ratio. Now, ratio is written in this form and can be written in terms of fraction. That is about ratio. In physical sense, in real life, when we are talking about ratio, it's like we are cutting things into segments. Look at this whole circle that is cut into segments. 2 segments contain A, 4 segments contain B, 1 segment contains C, 3 segments contain D, 2 segments contain E. So that is to say that the ratio of A, B, C, D, and E is 2, 4, 1, 4, 2. That is to say, this whole structure has been cut into several segments. And you see that it is a whole structure, it is the same structure. That is, it's a uniform entity. For example, if I give you cane, not that I want to cane you, no. If I give you cane, that you should cut it into ratio 2 to 3, into ratio 2 to 3, into ratio 3. Again, cut it into ratio 2 to 3. How can you do that? Before you can cut it into ratio 2 to 3, you need to ask me what is the length of the first ratio, what is the length of the second ratio. If I ask cut 1 centimeter in 3 places, 2 centimeter in 2 places. So that is to say you are going to divide this cane into 5 segments. In ratio what? 2 to what? 2 to 2 to what? To 3 to 3 to 3. So by the time you add everything together here, it will be the total length of the cane. If you add everything together here, it will be the total segment inside the cycle. But you should note that proportion, it is just like you are cutting a single item into several parts. Sorry, that is ratio. I'm talking about ratio, sorry. Ratio is like cutting a single aspect into several parts. Thank you. Now, what about proportion? Proportion is defined as the part taken from total of individual item. That is to say, before you can calculate proportion, you must see part taken and you must see total. For example, in the cane aspect that we just exemplified here, if I ask you, what is the proportion of the length that take 2 units, maybe 2 centimeters? Add all this length together, add the total length of 2 centimeters. Are you getting me now? So the proportion will be equal to what? Total length taken by 2 centimeters divided by overall length, which is equal to what? 9 plus 4, which is 13. So therefore, before you can calculate proportion, you must see total and you must see part taken. Proportion is part taken from total. So for just like this one, as we talked about, we see that we need to do two things. We need to find individual parts and we need to find the total part. Add all the number in the ratio together. That is what 13. And take each number, divide it by its own total. That is the proportion of each number. Proportion of 2, proportion of 4, proportion of 1, proportion of 4, another proportion of 2. So that is to say we have considered these two as individual entity in the whole system. Now, note this end. 2 ratio can be equated. 2 proportion can also be equated. 2 ratio can be equated and 2 proportion can also be equated. So, in that scenario, look at this example. If A ratio B is equal to 2 ratio 3, and X ratio Y is equal to 4 ratio 5, what is A ratio X? In this scenario, A is equal to 3, A is equal to 2, B is equal to 3, X is equal to 4, Y is equal to 9. Therefore, A is equal to 2, and what? S is equal to 4. Are you getting me? So in order to find A ratio X, do you think you have to say that, okay, 2 over 4 directly? No, it doesn't work like that. If you do that, you're not going to get that answer, because we have to equate this ratio to this particular ratio. To do that, we say that A ratio over B is equal to what? X over Y. We're now going to rearrange. If we rearrange, what we are going to get is what? A ratio X is equal to what? B ratio Y. So in order to find A ratio X, we need to find B ratio Y. So what is B? B is equal to 3, Y is equal to what? 9. That's the reason why A ratio X is equal to 1 over 3, not 2 over 4. You have now seen what I'm talking about. But to several students, they will do this thing and they will believe that, wow, I have 4 share. Please, you don't 4 share, you 4-0. So that is the reason why it is very, very important to understand the basic principles. So the same thing applies to proportions. Application of ratio of proportion. We have sharing percentage, rate and average, simple interest and compound interest, loss and gain. How to solve sharing? So the first thing that we need to look for is sharing. Identify or work out every proportion. That is principle number one. Because when we are talking about sharing, proportion is what we are talking about. Sharing has to do with what part you take from the total. How many houses can you take from your father's house? If your father gave you a house. So identify if one proportion is expressed in terms of another proportion. This is the technical aspect that we use to make sharing question difficult for students to solve. But if you can understand this aspect and know how to work it through thoroughly, I'm betting it with you, any sharing, you will be able to solve it. Now, sum of the proportion is the total sum of the share item. That is what you know from what experiment that you have been doing. That is to say, your father give you 2/3, give another person 1/3. So if you add the proportion to that together, it will give you total of what? 3. So under sharing, we have basic principle. The basic principle is what? Proportion, which is what? Part taken over total. Question can be complicated by expressing the proportion of one value with respect to another. Find the unknown value in the proportion. How can you do that? That is to say, 2/s is equal to 3/9. Make s the subject of formula. It's not difficult. Find the unknown value in this proportion. This is equal to what? 2x plus 1. 2x plus 1, yes, all over what? All over 2, to be equal to what? X plus 2, all over what? All over 5. Okay, you have to find the unknown value, which is equal to x. So in order to find s, you have to simplify this equation. So to simplify this equation, what you are going to have is what? 10x plus what? Plus 5 is equal to what? 2x is equal to 2x plus what? Plus 4. You know what I did? I multiplied this one by 5. Isn't it not it? I multiplied this one by what? By 2. So collect the like terms. That is equal to what? 2 will come here. 5 will go there. If I'm not mistaken, what we are going to have is what? Is going to be 8x is equal to minus 1. So automatically our x is equal to what? Minus 1/8. So that is that for that. So look at this again. One piece of pipe, 21 meter long, is to be cut into 2 pieces, with the length of pieces being in ratio what? 2:5. What are the length of the what? Of the pipe. To know the length of the pipe, the total of the pipe is 21 meter. You need to know the proportion of each part. The proportion of each part is what? For the 2 is 2/5. No, 2/7. For the 5 is what? 5/7. So what are we now saying? The proportion of this out of the total, out of the total is what? 2/7 of what? Multiplied by 21. So this is answer is equal to what? 6. The first one is 6. 5/7 multiplied by what? Multiplied by 21. So this is equal to what? 15. So 6 plus 15 is equal to 21. That is to say, the one that is of 2 will take length of 6 meter, while the one that is of 5 will take the length of 15 meter. So that is to say, what you see is what? Part taken of total of the item that is distributed. In this case, what you did is that you convert ratio to a proportion. In this case, you have converted ratio to what? To proportion of each. Are you getting me now? That is about that. At least we have talked about how to convert ratio to proportion, isn't it? So if it's that, if you are given ratio, you can convert it to proportion. Are you getting me now? Just know that we have done it. We have done it. I know we have done it. So what you need to take is add everything together and part all over part taken from the everything. So that is it's no more than that. So the next question is, a construction company is owned by two partners, X and Y, and it's agreed that their profit will be divided in ratio 4:5, depending on the money that they have deposited for the business at the end of the year. Yes. Y receive 5,000 more than A. Do you now see? This is what I'm talking about, expressing ratio of one with respect to another. Y receive 5,000 more than more than X. What is the total profit of the company for the year? In order to solve this problem, there are some things that you need to know. This is the ratio. You have to convert it to proportion. For the Y, it will be equal to what? 4/9. Are you getting me now? And it will take 4/9 of the total amount, which is multiplied by what? Total amount. Let the total amount be equal to T. Are you getting me now for the Y? For the S, is going to be what? For the S, is going to be 5. The part taken by S is going to be 5/9 multiplied by what? Total. Is that not it? It is. Yes, it is. So what are we now saying is that this equation will make the expression or this thing to be solvable. They said that Y receive 5,000 more than S. That is to say, the part taken by Y is equal to what? Part 5,000 plus part taken by S. So this is what relates X and Y together. So that is to say, now where is your Y? This is your Y. Where is your S? This is your X. Now substitute the two into this equation and find the value of T. So I now have what? Y is equal to what? I know what I have already known Y. What is Y? Y is equal to what? 40/9. Isn't it? Is equal to what? 5,000. 5,000 plus what? 5T over what? Over 9. So collect the term that contains it together. Are you getting me? So you are going to get 40, yes, minus 5T. This is over 9. This is also over 9. Is equal to what? 5,000. 5,000. In that case, we need to simplify this equation. In order to simplify it, answer is equal to be what? Just simplify. You will get your answer to be T all over 9. T all over 9 is equal to 5,000. So what is our T? Our T is equal to what? 9 times 5,000. Which is equal to what? 45,000 naira. So the whole company will own 45,000 naira at the end of the whole thing. And from this 45,000, which is the total amount, you can calculate the part taken by what? By what? By S. It's no more than this. This is everything about what we want to solve. Y receive 5,000 more than X. Y is equal to 5,000 plus amount of X. That is, the proportion taken by Y is equal to what? The part taken by Y is equal to what? The same thing. 5,000 plus parts taken by X. Are you getting me? So, and when we're looking at X, it's equal to what? If we didn't do any mistake. There is a mistake. Sorry, there is a mistake. And I can see that some students are trying to say that this one is minus. It's supposed to be minus. Don't do that, please. X come before Y. S come before Y. So X is 4. Y is 5. Are you getting me now? S is 4. Y is 5. Sorry. So Y is 5. X is what? Is 4. So if that should be the case, this one is going to be 5. Why this one is going to be 4. So answer will be positive then. Okay? So that is all about that. Please note the order of the variable that you are given with respect to the ratio. It is no more than this. It's very simple and it's not that complex. All you need to know, it is this section expressing the proportion of one part with respect to another. and that will be like a single expression that will combine the two parties together. In fact, if there are more than two, you can still use the same principle and you are going to get your answer. So this is where we will stop under sharing LCM and HCF. We are going to meet in the next class. Thank you for listening. ABP.